I guess you wanted to start off with some quotes.
I
So,
did. I
yeah,
did.
maybe we can
Yeah.
start there. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe a quote from Stephen Porges, who is the author of the polyvagal theory, which I talked quite a lot about in the last presentation that I did for online events. He says that regulators of physiology are embedded in relationship.
Mm.
So I'll leave you just to think about that. But basically, he's talking about co-regulation. We regulate each other in our relationships, right? Alan Shore, who does a lot of research in attachment, talks about right brain to right brain attunement between the mother and baby, which is fundamental for developing the capacity for self-soothing and regulation later on in life. I'll be talking quite a wee bit about that as well, because that's important in couples and how they relate to each other. And Carol Pribram, who was a psychology professor at Stanford and who did a lot of work into the limbic system and the connection and the pathways between the prefrontal cortex and the limbic system. And he says that the most basic of regulatory processes is the regulation of emotional arousal. So there are lots of people who are talking about this connection with regulation and arousal and the importance of that.
Oh, can you just say that last bit again, Maggie? I just missed that.
Yeah, I'm just saying that the connection between regulation and arousal and how that's really important for the functioning of the nervous system.
Yes, yeah. And when you are using that word regulation, what is it describing in your thinking?
Well, I'm going to come into that, but basically right. About how we remain in what might be called a window of tolerance, an area where we actually are regulated and we can use all the parts of our brain. We have all the parts of our brain available to us, as opposed to when we get dysregulated, we might become hyper-aroused or we might become hypo-aroused. So overactivated or become shut down.
Yeah. Yeah, so that, like the state of being regulated, we're in that window of tolerance. We're not, completely alarmed or completely shut down. And like those quotes, like there's a really suggesting the connection between our relationships and the capacity for us to return to that state.
Yes, absolutely.
Of being regulated.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And Irvin Yalom says, it's the relationship that heals. And as do many other writers, in the therapy field. So the importance of relationship.
Yeah,